looking for positivity or looking for encouragement. Temia Brinson aims to educate you, to give you the push to believe, to have the mindset for success. Mindset for success. To have the mindset for success. To have the mindset for success.
Welcome to the Mindset for Success show, and I'm Temia Brinson, your host. And today I want to talk to you about finances, about getting out of debt, specifically speaking about your credit cards and your loans. Okay, so before I begin, let me give you my personal testimony, okay? Because this is something that I accomplished in my life. When I was in college, I was, in my 20s, and I went out on the courtyard on orientation day. And on that day, they had all the booths lined up. So booth after booth, I went to all of them, and I filled out credit card applications. And it was so easy back then to get credit cards. So I went ahead and applied, and I got all of the credit cards. So I racked those up. And I had some payday loans too. So I had a lot of debt. I accumulated a lot of debt while I was in college. And believe it or not, I didn't even just have one payday loan. I had payday loans from different companies. So you can imagine the amount of debt I racked up, okay? So, when I was in college, I realized that, hey, I have all this debt. I didn't have a job. I need to get a job. So I went ahead and got a job, and I started to pay them off. But I dropped the ball. Okay, so when it came later in life, when I wanted to buy a piece of property, a condo, that debt that I accumulated in college, it followed me, so it affected my credit score and everything. I couldn't buy the property at the time. So I had to lay out a plan, and I had to pay that debt off, but I did it. Okay, and I want to let you know that you can do it too. So let's get started, because again, I'm encouraging you to pay your debts off, because you can do it. I did it, and I know you can too. So, number one, make a list of all of your debts. Okay, you want to see how much debt you're in, and you just want to lay it out before you and just survey and survey everything and know how much debt you owe. Why you want to do this? Well, look at the Bible. What does the word says? Let's look at an inference, an example in the Bible. Remember Joshua and Caleb and the 12 spies when they went into the land of Canaan to survey it, and they saw 10 of them saw giants, and of course Joshua and Caleb saw what was possible, that they could conquer it and they could overcome it. So looking at that example, when you want to lay out all of your debts and see how much you owe, they surveyed the land. They surveyed their competition. They surveyed and see what they had to do, what they had to accomplish, So it's important to survey your finances, survey your debt, and just get an overview of what you need to do and how much debt you owe. Take an inventory. Do what Joshua and Caleb did. Take an inventory and see what's before you. Okay? So make a list of all your debts. And that's your credit cards, your personal loans, your student loans, your car loans, even in your payday loans, okay? And your mortgages. Okay, and you want to make I say 3 columns. You want to make a list of the credit cards. You want to make a list of how much you owe on each one, the total amount. And then you want to make a list, you want to write down also the minimum of payment amounts on them. And then you want to list the interest rates that you're paying on each one. Okay? So again, make your list and have a little chart or whatever. Again, write down your cards. Write down the amount you owe, the total amount. The next column, write down the minimum amount. And the next column, write down how much the interest rate is, how much you're being charged interest. Okay? We'll be right back right after this break.
Tell me what you gon' do, tell me what you gon' say when love comes your way. Life is so good, take off that frown, put a smile up on your face. You say you're looking for love, or if you're looking for love, I know just what it is. It's been knocking at the door, tell me what you're waiting for, just let it come in. No, 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 no. Love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your. Why you been looking for love in all the wrong places? I'm here to let you know love's been looking for you. She's knocking at the door. Break the beat.
Let's roll.
Well, everybody's got problems, I got some too, but I refuse to cry, cry, cry. Soon as you get up off the ground, there's haters all around trying to kill your smile, smile, smile. So you've been looking for love, well if you're looking for love, I know just where it is. It's been knocking at the door, tell me what you're waiting for, just let it come in. No, 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 no. Love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your. So you say you got problems. So you say you got problems. Walking around with a frown. One thing about love, I turn a frown upside down. So you say you got problems. Walking around with a frown. One thing about love, I turn a frown upside down. Been looking for love for so long, this world has been treating you so wrong. You give it your heart, they rip it apart, and they give it back when it's all gone. Telling God all of your problems, he telling you he wanna solve them. He sent you his love, it's right at the door, but you won't answer when it's calling. Why won't you answer? It's not hard to find. Love came to the cross, love went to the grave, what you on his mind? Look left, look right, but hold up, don't you pass. Got a lot of options in this world, but don't get choosy, choose it fast. I'm talking to you. Love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your. Why you been looking for love in all the wrong places? I'm here to let you know love's been looking for you. She's knocking at the door. Love got your, love got your name on it. Love got your, love got your, love got your.
A little over a year ago, I was let go from my job after being there for 17 and a half years. I was looking for employment and had back-to-back interviews. Little did I know, my entire employment file was frozen and no one was able to verify my previous employment. So while I was trying to get that straightened out, I got my mortgage license. But guess what? That wasn't enough. So one day, a pastor friend of mine told me about making money on the stock market. I researched it, found teachers and people on YouTube to explain everything, and finally, I gave it a try. My first trade, I made $400, and then I got better the more and more I started trading. I got to the point where I'm making almost the same amounts that I was making when I was on the job. Now I'm buying a new car and still paying my bills, all while trading stocks for a living. I am what is called a swing trader. I remember while on my previous job that I would be saying to my coworkers and to God, that I wanted to work for myself so I could free up my time and do what God called me to do. Little did I know that God was listening in on the conversation and working to fulfill that dream. I want to give you the opportunity to have the same financial knowledge. So let me encourage you to become a member of Mindset for Success. Become a VIP or a professional member, because when you have those memberships, you will be able to follow my journey. I will have videos showing you how I do trades. You will have access to certain trades that I make. You will also see what I'm doing and also see the strategies that I put in place. So again, go ahead and join and sign up. You have to be either a VIP or a professional member to gain access. So go ahead and do that today.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
And now, let's continue with our discussion. So again, very important to survey your debt. Take an inventory, okay? Number 2, rank your debts. And it's important to rank your debts because this is where you're coming up with your game plan, okay? It's important to have a goal and to have a game plan and how you need to meet and how you can meet those goals. So you need to rank your debt, okay? And there's 2 ways people usually do it, and I did it from the smallest amount owed to the largest. Okay, and you can decide for yourself if that's the way for you to go. But that's what I did. I did from the smallest amount to the largest that I owed. Okay, the other way is from the highest interest rate on each card or loan to the lowest amount of interest rate that you're being charged. And the reason some people use this method is because you can save the most money while you're paying it off. For example, if your first loan is the highest interest rate, when you pay that off, you're no longer being charged that real high interest rate. So you're saving on the interest that they will pay you every billing cycle. Okay, so either way you want to do it, whether it's from the smallest amount owed to the largest or from the highest interest rate to the lowest, you can determine for yourself which one you can do. Okay, but these are the 2 ways that you can rank your debts. All right. So, number 3, focus on one debt at a time. And I know it's probably a knee-jerk reaction to try to go ahead and send everything in at once and pay it all at once, and but unfortunately, some people have a lot of debt that they can't afford to just pay it all at once. So you need to focus on one debt at a time. And the way you can do this is refer to your list. This is the reason for making a list and ranking them. Refer to your list. The first item on your list, you tackle that first. Now, make sure you still pay the minimum amount on all your other debts, because you don't want to accumulate more debt. The whole point of the game plan is to pay your debts off, not accumulate more. Okay? So when you're focusing on your one main debt, the first item on your list, let's say you have a credit card of $200. Okay, you can either try to pay that all at once, depending on how much income you have coming in and how much you can afford. You can either, when you get paid, you can pay that all at once, or you can pay more on that one card and concentrate on that one card while you're paying the minimum on the other debts. Okay, so you can do either or depending on how much money you have, how much you have to put towards your debts. So go ahead but the key point of this step is to focus on one debt at a time. So start with the first one on your list and then work your way down. Okay? We'll be right back right after this break.
More items on your to-do list than hours in the day? If you're in college, you know exactly what we're talking about. But there's one thing you should never be too busy to do, and that is taking time to make a budget. A budget is a financial plan that will help you make smart spending choices today while preparing for tomorrow. Budgeting will help you achieve your goals and prepare you for unexpected bumps in the road. So what goes into making a budget? First, you'll need to track your income and expenses for a particular period of time, such as a month. You can use pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. After that, making your budget comes down to a simple equation: what you earn minus what you spend. To determine your income, include items such as wages earned at work, allowances from family, and student financial aid such as grants or scholarships. To determine your expenses, include items such as tuition, books, rent, credit card payments, and car payments. Then simply subtract your expenses from your income. Are your earnings greater than your spending? If so, you could choose to invest, buy a new cell phone, or simply save for a rainy day. But what if you spent more than you earned? If that's the case, it's time to cut back on your expenses and balance your budget. You may also need to find a way to increase your income. Remember, everyone's budget is unique and it will fluctuate from month to month, so use a budget and be mindful of your daily expenses. That way you can make sure you're spending your money on things that really matter to you. When you budget, you decide where your money goes instead of wondering where it all went. And there you have it, the basics of a budget. Now it's time to create your own. Go to studentaid.gov/budget to get started.
A little over a year ago, I was let go from my job after being there for 17 and a half years. I was looking for employment and had back-to-back interviews. Little did I know, my entire employment file was frozen and no one was able to verify my previous employment. So while I was trying to get that straightened out, I got my mortgage license. But guess what? That wasn't enough. So one day, a pastor friend of mine told me about making money on the stock market. I researched it, found teachers and people on YouTube to explain everything, and finally, I gave it a try. My first trade, I made $400, and then I got better the more and more I started trading. I got to the point where I'm making almost the same amounts that I was making when I was on the job. Now I'm buying a new car and still paying my bills, all while trading stocks for a living. I am what is called a swing trader. I remember while on my previous job that I would be saying to my coworkers and to God that I wanted to work for myself so I could free up my time and do what God called me to do. Little did I know that God was listening in on the conversation and working to fulfill that dream. I want to give you the opportunity to have the same financial knowledge. So let me encourage you to become a member of Mindset for Success. Become a VIP or a professional member, because when you have those memberships, you will be able to follow my journey. I will have videos showing you how I do trades. You will have access to certain trades that I make. You will also see what I'm doing and also see the strategies that I put in place. So again, go ahead and join and sign up. You have to be either a VIP or a professional member to gain access. So go ahead and do that today.
COVID-19 has changed how we express our faith and gather to worship.
We all want to get back to how we pray,
how we congregate, how we lift our voices in praise. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to spreading the word without spreading concern.
before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
And now, let's continue with our discussion. Number 4, rinse and repeat. Okay, and this is very important because personally what I did in college, I started to pay off my debt. You know, I tried, but I dropped the ball. And this is a key thing because like I said before, it later followed me when I wanted to buy a piece of property. So don't drop the ball. Keep focused, stay focused, and be consistent. You know, rinse and repeat. Once you pay off that first debt, move on to the next item on your list and start working towards paying off that one. So stay focused and, you know, be consistent. And one thing we can look to is in the Bible when in Joshua 6, I believe, when the Israelites, they tackled Jericho and they marched around the city of the wall of Jericho. And they had a game plan. God gave them a game plan, just like he's giving you now on how to pay off your debts. He gave them a game plan. And, you know, they walked around the wall of Jericho 6 days. And then the last day, they did a final, you know, rounds on the last 7th day in celebration, in victory. So the key point of that story is to be consistent. Stay focused. They didn't just walk around the wall one day. You know, they came back the next day and the next day. You know, they didn't give up. They stuck to the plan. You know, so that's my message to you. Stick to the plan. Stay focused. You know, do it month after month. You know, stay focused and be on it. Stick to your plan. You may get discouraged, you know, but go ahead and it may be some tight moments, some tight months, maybe you can't, you know, eat out or whatever, but it is worth it once you pay the debt off. Okay, you will see how much financial power you have after you pay that off. I'm telling you, because your credit score will increase also, and then you'll have some extra money too. So, you know, you will realize how much power you have with money. So stay focused. All right. Number 5, tackle your loans. You know, again, this is part of being focused because in Luke 18, remember the widow, the parable of the persistent widow? You know, she came back to the judge, even though the judge was unfair. And I believe back in those days, you had to have money to kind of like bribe the judges. So she didn't have any money. And the judge was, you know, he didn't care about people, so he wasn't a just judge. But she was persistent. She kept coming back. She got on his nerve. She did not give up. Okay? So stay focused and keep that in mind when you tackle your loans. You want to stick with it. Okay? So for your personal loans, your student loans, your car loans, you know, your payday loans, even your mortgages, you want to do the same thing and use the same method that you're using with your credit cards. So what you do with the loans, because it's a, you know, probably a bigger amount than your regular credit cards, you know, probably a much larger amount, especially the mortgages, if you have a mortgage or an investment property, you know, because those are amortized scheduled payments, probably over 20, 30, 15 or 30 years. So, you know, it's the same method. You know, keep focused. It's the same method. Don't let the amount of the large amount that you owe, don't let the debt amount scare you. Don't let that intimidate you, because it's the same method and you can do it. So with loans, especially with mortgages and car loans, you can pay that off sooner than later. And you use the same method as credit cards. You pay your regular payment, and you send in extra each month, and you plan to send that in and to pay down the principal amount. Why you do this? Because you want to limit the amount that you're paying down on your interest. The more you're paying down on your principal, you're going to lower the amount that you pay in interest over time back to the bank.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work, and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people, and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
We will continue with our discussion next week. I hope this was a blessing to you, and thank you for watching the show. And be sure to tune in next week on Mindset for Success.
To have the mindset for success. If you're looking for positivity or looking for encouragement,